The Sun on Elevate Voice TV.
Yes, hello everyone. This is Elevate Voice TV, and I'm so happy for you who is watching us live on YouTube, on TikTok, and all other media platforms. We have other media platforms, that is Facebook. You can follow us on TikTok. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can drop your comments. You can like, so that everyone can access the information here on Elevate Voice TV. And remember, our theme is amplifying voices, inspiring the world. And I'm Atuheire Lucky, and I'm so much humbled to be here. The program is The Sun, and we are going to explore more and interesting topics in the world, in Uganda, in Africa, and you are going to like it. You are going to enjoy everything. We shall be considering culture, we shall be considering politics, we shall be considering all other forms of themes in the world. And here we are back for this week, and here I'm in a studio and I have my guests, and I'm so happy to see you. And we are going to start immediately. And before I continue further, let me first welcome my brother here to first introduce himself, and we shall continue. And also, our madam is also going to introduce herself. Then we continue with the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our dear host, for giving me this opportunity. First of all, I would like to thank each one and everyone who is, following us, live streaming us, because these are really matters that are supposed to be talked about our continent as Africa, and it will really give us insights on how we shall all come together and elevate our status as Africans. And before I continue, I would like to give you my initials. I'm called Henry Adams Keshedon. And I think let me take this opportunity to welcome my colleague also to at least say something about herself, and we go forward.
Okay, I thank you for the opportunity. I thank the host for wonderful thing he has done to host me here. As our mission is to amplify voices, I thank the subscribers, the viewers, and all who are using the media platforms to like us, subscribe, and comment. We are here to discuss about the essential issues in the world and in Africa and in our country, Uganda. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for coming, and we have really done good in enjoying your presence here. And behold, today we are going to talk about a lot of things surrounding matters that are currently trending in the world. We have been hearing of a Trump decree about abolishing these organizations that are based in Africa mostly, and they are owned by Americans. And I would like to introduce this topic that we are going to discuss about today, which is awakening Africa on a sustainable funding system, so that everything in Uganda, so that everything in Africa can be self-sustainable, not seeking from the foreign aid. We have had people who are fully depending on this foreign aid, and we want to see, is it positive? Is it negative? Is it affecting us positively or negatively? And if all these organizations are abolished, are we going to learn something? Are we going to die? Are we going to benefit? Or we are going to lose many things? And before I continue, I'm going to hand over the topic to Sir, so that he can briefly talk about the point concerning that topic, and we shall continue with the program. Thank you.
Once again, our dear host, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Still, I will straight paraphrase what he said. The topic is all about awakening Africa, about self-sustainable funding following Trump's decree to cut off American aid to Africa. And I remember way back during Trump's election in 17, he had those plans of, prioritizing America first than other continents. And today, we're basically going to talk about that, like how as this cutting of foreign aid, how is it going to affect us Africans, both negatively, positively, and if negatively, how are we going to come up with remedies of, uh, becoming a self-sustainable nation whereby, we can use what we have to always provide for ourselves than always relying on foreign aid. Yeah? At least we should, after the end of this, we should be in position to come up with a lot of ideas on how to live without the foreign aid. I think this juncture, I should give my colleague to, give us a few points about how this has affected us. Of course, we shall first start with positives, then negatives will come, and remedies will be our final reasons.
Okay. I thank you for the opportunity, my colleague. I thank everyone who is viewing us streaming live. Yeah, Trump's action led to both positive and negative attributes in Uganda. First of all, we are going to talk about the positive things he did. His idea brought about, for example, in Uganda, that is the current core status, and we all live in Uganda. Yes, the aid was cut off, but we cannot die because the aid was cut off. We have to plan for the future. Since Uganda man says, so we have to create a road for our souls. For example, it has given a president to see that he has to financially stabilize the country so that we can gain a sustainable country like any other country, for example, America. The President of America did very good, excellently good, because we had over-depended on his country. So he had to set a way that children have to be in their families. So President, please, we call for your help in finance. Those corrupt ministers have done more good than harm, please. So in Uganda, the positive thing which Trump did is to awaken African presidents, like we have a president who is President Museveni, to create a financial independence in his country, not being all the time getting support from US. Please, we are requesting for aid. Please, we are requesting for some medicine. Please, we are requesting some money to finance this issue. So that's the call. Thank you.
Okay, now, according to what you've said Museveni is trying to make Uganda a self-sustainable country. But now, I was perusing through these organizations. For example, in Uganda, we have TASO.
Yeah.
And we have other organizations like you say, DNAIDS and others. But let's focus on TASO.
Yes.
It has been here ever since I was born. I used to hear TASO. Now, TASO has been there for a long time, and we have doctors actually in Uganda who are partnering with this organization.
That's right.
They have been working in this organization for over 5 years, for over 8 years. But now what I want to think, what normally disturbs my mind, if you have been working with this organization, they are distributing ARVs, they are supporting these AIDS patients.
Okay.
So I want to know, what have these doctors been doing if Uganda cannot make its own ARVs, yet we have the knowledge, yet we have these people who practice this medicine, who normally know everything about medicine. So I want us to go in that angle and analyze. Is it because our doctors are not hardworking? Is it because we don't have the resources? Is it because we have been spoon-fed in a way that we cannot do our own things? Because you have the knowledge, you can clarify more about that.
Well, basing on that, I think doctors are basically professionals who study with the intentions of acquiring the knowledge on how to treat humans. Maybe if you're gifted with that good knowledge, you can go ahead with invention. You can invent your own drugs, something like that. Let me bring it back to our country, Uganda. Let me say now, since the TASO organization has been cut, and it has been the one that has been funding most of the hospitals with free ARVs.
Yes.
I would actually advise our doctors, maybe not to a greater extent, because I know most of them have been in the diaspora, like working with those big companies in the US that maybe manufacture. At least they would have gotten the knowledge, and ability to manufacture those ARVs.
Yes.
Which if they come in, like if they bring them back to our country, they would be in position to start, opening their own manufacturing
drugs,
yes,
and medicines.
Yes, since they have been working there, they have been used as laborers, and they now have the skill. So I would advise them to actually come and utilize now what they have gained outside there. That's to those who have been working in the US, Britain, yeah.
And actually, I watched Trump's speech. I actually knew about the problem that is really affecting us. And maybe we Africans, we don't mind much about developing ourselves. Sometimes we are normally taken by the things which are done by other countries. Let's say Western countries, let's say European countries. Because now, if you want to tell me that you are a doctor and you are working in USA, you are working in London, and your origin is Uganda, it means you have to be getting all that information and coming back to Africa, to Uganda, to your own country, so that you can establish those ideas, so that we can also at one time become like become like those countries. Because if you could see Africa, it is normally said as the richest country in terms of minerals. We have everything. We have our knowledge, but as if we lack something of, is it nationalism?
We lack the creativity and innovation of how things are done.
Creativity, innovation. So let me ask our madam to also comment about this thing, because I'm seeing it is a big problem, and if we could at least see it closely, it is really a source of great things.
Okay, the biggest problem in Uganda that we have professionals, really, we have professionals. For example, the person who manufactured Covidex was a Ugandan. But the problem is brain drain. People who are professional, they have traveled to European countries so that they get enough source of income, so they get enough, like, better standards of living. And in Uganda, it's not like they don't get their basic needs. For example, they don't prioritize a person who has innovated something, who has made a creative ability to establish something new. So in Uganda, that's the biggest problem. And we lack resources. The government finances army, but really it can't finance in the medical sector. So that if he sets 2 billion free for those people who are innovative, who have creativity to set up something new. For example, those people who can manufacture RVs, because people are dying because people can't get the money that is needed to have those medicines. So please, we beg the president to do enough.
I think I would like to make a little bit of supplement on what my colleague has said. Sometimes, those things happen just because of the environment we have grown up from. You get? Yeah, our environment is not supporting. Our environment is not appreciating. Let me say I can come up now with some business idea. Let me say making maybe ARVs when I don't have the capital. I will try maybe seeking for some help, some finances, but at the end of the day, I'm not helped. You get? So that's why most of these people now have tried to rely on foreigners, because those guys are open. As long as they know that this is going to bring in, a lot of capital in return, they will always, So that's what has affected us. But generally, as Africans, Ugandans, we have the knowledge and everything is there. It's just that there is some bit of,
Yeah, but through what they have said, I've seen that we lack passion of our people. For example, if someone wants to start an innovative business, there is a way Africa is made. There is a way our people are conservative. They are conservative. They don't want change. If you bring a new idea, for example, I can sit here. I say, what can I do, me as a young person? I say, I'm going to start building websites. I say, I'm going to introduce stationaries and start making computers. But now there are those people who will begin saying computers. They will be negative
about the idea. Though it is helping the society to improve.
They will begin asking, who has ever started that business in Uganda? Who has ever started?
The inferiority complex.
Even the local leaders will not give you support. And remember, in China, when they see you making something, when a government sees you making something small, so long as it can at one time burst into income, they can come and help.
That's right.
And again, those people have their love. Their love.
They're nationalistic.
They are nationalistic. In Uganda, in Africa, we normally prioritize things that are coming from abroad. There is one president in Russia. This president, Vladimir Putin, was speaking to these African leaders, and he said one statement that Africans are like these birds in the forests. They go around the forest looking for fruits to eat.
Exactly.
They look for where fruits are ripe, but they don't have that nature of going to separate land where they can grow their own fruits. So we are always running here and there
for free things.
Free things. That's why we see even our doctors. They don't mind. They don't mind. You can talk about that. You can talk about that nature of Africans, because it is really, even a person who wants to begin something small, that person is belittled. You can talk about it so that we can open our eyes and see the problem that is affecting us.
Yes. I think in that aspect of Africans not being passionate about what they are doing or not being recognized is maybe because of the inferiority complex. As Africans have that we are not as good as the whites. You get?
Yeah.
You have that in you. You have that in you. Even if you know that you're good at something, you're always biased about yourself. You get? If we would only remove that, let's just remove that from us and be like, yes, I can manage. I can do this.
Mm.
Then also we can call up for support. That's what us Africans need. We need someone to back us up. Someone to back us, and someone to always be there, even if because you starting may not be just an easy breakthrough. You're just establishing and you get things.
Humble beginnings.
Even if at some point things don't come up, but at least our people will always be like, what you're doing is good. Just continue. I know you're not expecting what you want, but in the long run, all will be well. That's what us Africans lack by then. If we will remove that, trust me, we shall be a great nation.
Thank you so much. And I also observed something in Trump's speeches. This man makes a lot of speeches, and most especially about Africa. There's one statement I quoted from his speech. He was saying, we give Africans money, they come and invest in America. And Americans are still coming to invest in Africa. And I was now lost in thoughts what this statement was really talking about. And maybe you can talk about it.
To talk about that point, it's like embezzlement of funds in Uganda. For example, they give the president the aid, but the people who are able to administer the aid to Ugandans, they just get the money with their selfish actions, then they reinvest the same money in US. Why? They are selfish. For them, they want everything to be on their own. They build, they get everything, which is like for themselves. So the few Ugandans have benefit, those are the family members. Then the majority, we the Ugandans, are suffering because of the corruption and embezzlement of funds. That's why he was tired of facilitating Ugandans, because Ugandans are selfish, they are corrupt, they practice even tribalism, because if they give you the money to help the unable Ugandans, for example, to facilitate medical services for you, selfish minister, how do you reinvest the money back to US? Really, if you want your country to grow up. So it's
so I've seen that the problem with Africa, we have a lot of corruption
and
embezzlement of funds, because if I have the money, maybe I'm working for a certain organization and I have a lot of money. I think Uganda has these ministries to investigate the wealth of the government workers plus other people.
IGG or IGP, something like that.
So when they investigate, I think they have also caught some people. So I think even other people who get a lot of money, they think maybe this organization is also going to investigate them. So they run to America, where they will not be investigated. You can take an example. Let's leave alone these organizations. We can also take an example of the government. Remember, was it last year when they were saying that Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Anita Among, is having a big building in London, and also other countries. So they go and invest in those countries. Remember, in Africa, we have a problem. We go and invest in those countries.
for them, they develop.
They develop. Remember, when they come to Africa, I'm very sure that even many countries in Africa, those who allow foreign investors, those foreign investors don't even pay tax.
They don't.
And again, I don't know if they vote. Do they vote?
No.
They don't vote. So after getting those that income through investing in Africa, they even repatriate their money to their countries. And that is why we, as Africans, we have been down in terms of income. you can as well talk about it, because in Uganda we have many foreign investors who don't even pay tax.
You know,
They even get free land from the State House.
Yeah.
They even receive a great freedom than we Ugandans. You can talk about that.
You know, there is that taxation policy, ways of attracting foreign investors to the country. You give them you give them insights about the potentials, where the investors will come and invest. Then you give them tax holidays. You get. Sometimes you give them land. I don't know that duration, but there is a period of years, which is not the same as what Africans are given the other side. I think sometimes as Africans here, we are just being, too nice, since we know that we are vulnerable to anything, we are already poor, you get it? So whatever those foreign investors say, the conditions they say for them to come and invest in Africa, we go by that. And of course, I know those foreigners don't just come without pushing in something, which brings us back to that point of corruption. After maybe when they bring in something, they give you something little to at least develop. But instead, again, we split before the money reaches to the exact place. It's already splitted because they passes through very many channels.
That corruption.
Yeah. At the end of the day, there is nothing. There is nothing, and the money goes just like that, untraced. But for them, their money is traced. You just can't receive money and.
So these people who invest, okay, let's say us, you are Ugandans, you want to invest in USA. How are those policies favorable to us, or they are not favorable at all?
I don't think those policies are favorable to us, unlike the way we bring them. Because first of all, you going there and acquiring land, they can't give you like they give them in Uganda. You get it? Eh? So instead, you will actually spend a lot of money getting land than using that money for building. You spend a lot in buying and use less for what? For putting in your kind of investment.
And I also heard they go through a lot of processes to process even a visa to America. Is also a problem. Go there, pay this amount, do this, and again when you reach in the country in USA, they again take you there. I don't think they are more favorable than us here, because for us we give them land, they don't pay tax.
We just see the whites as our gods because they facilitate us, but they are done. They said Africans are beggars. Okay, they are beggars. So US people over Americans, they're too tired. They are too stressed of beggars. So we have to rely on our own.
Actually, when I was visiting it, I thought that it would be fair. But again, yes, they come and invest. Yes, Ugandans get employment opportunities, they get money. But though these conditions are also not good.
Getting money there, it's not just an easy
But now we have money. Then why are we not developing like them? That creativity, corruption,
political
individualism,
instability,
So I was also seeing that if we have people who can stand together so that we can plan and develop our countries, because we know we have available resources which can help us. Actually, even these whites come to Africa to look for minerals because of the resources.
We are the ones funding their industries. They use our raw materials. They use our raw materials each and every time. Actually, we have everything they need. They just come and take it.
No, Trump
They come.
said
Mm.
that for them they will come
Mm.
to take away what we can't utilize.
Mm-hmm.
We have that plenty, but we can't utilize it. For them, they have a purpose of why they want the things, the resources, the minerals, the oil.
Mm.
For us, we have, but we can't utilize them because we don't see that benefit. For them, the Americans will come and explore us, then they'll go back.
That's right.
So for us, we be there crying for poverty and employment. For them, they'll be jubilating because they are well off. Yeah.
When you see DRC, because DRC is one of the richest African countries in terms of minerals.
Yeah.
But it is the country that when time for elections reaches, you find they are saying, yeah, it is time for voting, but we don't have money to facilitate the electoral process. Now you ask yourself, what is lacking in Africa? What don't we have? Because they have resources. How can you bring it out so that all Africans can be able to open their eyes and know the problem, so that we don't only depend on foreign aid? Because we need to be self-sustainable. We need to have everything on our own without getting aid from outside countries.
So what I can say about that issue is Africans need solidarity. We need unity. We need cooperation. Everything in Uganda is for free of charge. For example, God abundantly gave us the resources for free of charge. It's us to put our knowledge in valuable form so that we come together and see what's the need for the resources. Not letting the whites to understand that we have the resources but we have failed to do off with them. So we have to empower ourselves, we have to unite ourselves so that we see that we fight for a betterment of our country.
Just a small hint about that.
Yes.
As Africans, we're not united with other countries. Mostly the leaders and the ones, who are supposed to spark off this.
The unity.
And bringing on maybe let me say that that aspect you brought of maybe the election breaking in, people don't have funds. You get they all want to go to maybe Europe, seek for funding. We have our Africans in the diaspora, people who work there. They are actually those that even grew up there. They are in position to help, but they cannot, just because we are not,
First
We are
compare that source of
we lack
income.
solidarity.
Yes, we can't come as one, and then also another thing, African leaders that try to speak about this foreign aid, like if they always try to speak something bad, let me say facts about what those guys are doing to us, they're eliminated. They're eliminated. So our voices actually are not there. You get to always speak for us. Our leaders are always being driven. I realized we are still under neocolonialism. We still have multinational companies here that are owned by those guys, the whites. They're still here, and we use them. You get. So I don't know how we're really going to, it's just us to come as one. Trust me, once we come into one understanding, Africa will be a great nation. I just have that belief.
Yes, thank you so much. You who is watching us live on Elevate Voice TV, amplifying voices, inspiring the world. And we have come to the first part, and now we are going for a short break, and we shall be coming shortly and continuing. More interesting is yet to come. Thank you so much for watching.
Elevate Voice TV, amplifying voices, inspiring the world.
Yes, welcome back. This is the Sun program at Elevate Voice TV, amplifying voices, inspiring the world, and we are here for this program. We are talking about Africa, awakening to Africa to be self-sustainable in everything, in every topic, in every sector, in everything. So we have been talking about the problems we Africans are really passing through following this decree that was passed by Donald Trump, the US president, at his theme of saying America first, America first. And we are really trying to exploit this topic to the deeper, to know how can African countries become self-sustainable in all sectors. Let it be farming, let it be music, let it be education, all sectors as we are going. So I want to first call our Sir Adam to talk about this. How can we make Africa a self-sustainable place in terms of income and economy? Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, our dear host. First of all, I think I would love to, bring in this idea of our Africans there in the diaspora coming up with the ideas of reinvesting in Africa. You reinvest in your own country. You make money there, but you invest in your country. You get there. You're creating a lot of job opportunities for our youth. And, Then secondly, I would open up now to maybe Africans who are in specific African countries. Let me say in Uganda. Now Ugandans who have businesses should now start getting in partnerships. You get? You start partnering with each other in a way that, you try now running businesses together.
Yes.
You get it? You just recycle your investments around the country.
Togetherness,
yes. I think that would help. Then, of course, we have the raw materials. We start establishing factories, that we utilize these raw materials. I know we might not have all things, but at least let's utilize what we have. That would help us. And I think my colleague also
because we have many foreign industries and factories in Uganda, but that one shouldn't make us sit down. We should also stand up, because we have many people out there who are unemployed. They are jobless. They have nothing to do, and those are the people that are even doing these crimes that we normally see.
Yeah.
But we Africans, if we are so clever, we can also establish our own industries, so that we can also create job opportunities for those people. That is what I've heard from your point. And also, let's welcome our Madame Olive and to explain more.
Yeah, I thank you for the opportunity. What I think Ugandans have to do is to have this environmental sustainability in contact. For example, African countries have to enhance with their resources. They put restrictions to their resources so that they make it useful to themselves before others exploit it. So this calls upon African leaders to put restrictions on their resources so that they first utilize them before others do. Because resources if they are well utilized, the country may be economically empowered. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Then also government should of course play a bigger role in supporting the initiatives that people will bring in. Let me say people come with a business idea seeking for funding. Government should be in position to fund, such that those guys will start from where they maybe government has given them, and it
By
starts.
the way,
Yes.
that idea has been introduced, is it in Rwanda? That when you sit there, you think of a business idea that is going to employ, not you. You are not going to only benefit from it, but it will also benefit other populations of Rwanda. That you register it on paper, then you take it to the ministry, and they will be giving out the money for the startup.
Uganda should
PDM.
comply.
Actually, Uganda is trying to introduce it.
PDM.
PDM. Yeah, Uganda is trying to introduce the PDM.
But now still PDM is having a problem issues. I normally
I'm not sure.
People are giving family members money instead of Ugandans.
Yes, the money from the central goes to the district. After reaching the district, they cut off. When it reaches the parish, they cut off. Chairperson registering forms, what, cut off. You find a person who was supposed to get 1 million is going to get 600,000.
Even that is much.
100,000. 100,000. Imagine. That is our Uganda. So I think that idea, we should also borrow it in all African countries, because I know there are many countries which have not bought that idea. In Uganda, thank you, thank you, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for giving us this PDM, and it is really helping a lot of people. I've seen some people who are benefiting, who have started businesses, and they are really enjoying. Though other people are not getting the money.
Yeah, they are down crying.
So what we have to do is just fight against that corruption and make sure that those people who are caught doing those acts, they should be brought on table and they should be questioned. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So we can continue with your say.
I also had a point of let me say this now brings into how we should now start utilizing the taxes that we pay to the government. We're taxed, but now we don't see where the money goes. So at this point now, whereby these heads are being cut off, that money should now be put in some investment, just purposely to create jobs, right? Create jobs. And actually, when people let me say, people are employed, people are doing in businesses, trust me, there's no way we shall start thinking of other aid when we have whatever we need. So government should really consider that the money we pay as taxes, it should now help us. Should help us.
And I was also observing the taxes in Uganda. I wonder how this system works. That those people who are heading, is it the Revenue Authority, where those people, they say, we have collected a lot of taxes, and right now we are going to share the surplus that we got out, that like they say, this year we are going to collect, let me just say 1 billion, and they get 2 billion.
Those people have money.
So they say, since we had planned for 1 billion, then another billion we are going to share it among ourselves. And that is what we are that is really disturbing us Ugandans, because those are the taxes that are supposed to be helping the entire activities of the country, and including the investment, and also facilitating those PDM programs, fighting against corruption and all the others. But we can really curb that down. But now I want to also see what could be the problem, because we are seeing the major problems are surrounding corruption
and individualism.
And I don't know, but corruption starts from down on ground, but also up. Before this Norbert Mo was taken by NRM, he was on a certain radio station here in the central, and they asked him what could be the problem against about corruption. The man said, a fish starts rotting from its head. That was around 2012, 2008 there.
Yes.
But now, also, it begins from down going up.
That's right.
Because remember, when we say central, they are going, yes, they can take money, but when it begins from the village level, you can consider how many villages are we having in Uganda?
There are
There are many.
How many villages are we having in Africa? There are very many. So if we are having 2 billion villages in Uganda, and each village is going to extort 1 million, each chairman is going to extort to embezzle 1 million, then how much money will we have lost?
a lot of money.
A lot of money. So I want to see what is really bringing us to this. You can talk briefly about that, because we are now focusing on Awakening Africa, about how we can become self-sustainable. You can talk about it.
What I think we can do is to unite. Unity is lacking amongst Ugandans. So, and individualism. What you have said of embezzlement of funds from the local councils or from the local people, it's really practical. It's practical and visible. People have evidenced that. When you go to the chairman to sign for you, he wants 50k for a signature.
Just imagine.
And his role is to sign on a document. If 50k, assume 10 people have come for a signature, how much money is that? So if we unite ourselves and we say that no, this act is not going to be done to us, we resist. But you see a person going to the chairperson to have a signature, and he says, do you have your sister? If they ask you, do you have your sister, it means, do you have money? Have you come with your sister in your bag? It means, do you have money? So if you resist and say, no, I don't have money, and let's go to the law to justify this, you will be like, okay, let me sign, don't go anywhere, let me sign. So if we unite, we shall have a sustainable country, because all we shall be discussing a voice, one voice. We amplify one voice of unity, so we cooperate and everything shall be well. Thank you.
So, Chairperson LC ones and other leaders don't ask for sisters. I've heard they are sisters.
Yeah, they are there.
Sisters, have you come with something in the bag or in the pocket? Hey, corruption. And another thing, we can see that all things are just rotating on corruption if we don't have passion for ourselves, loving one another, and transparency. We really avoid hating one another, because you cannot extort money from me when you love
Even
me.
we have an issue that's eating up Ugandans. Where do I benefit from? Everything. If you see corruption, will you give me a half? Then I support you what you're going to do.
Just
so
imagine.
Where can I benefit from? It's the biggest problem. So if we eradicate that, we shall move on. We shall be empowered. We shall amplify one voice of unity, and we shall be economically empowered as Ugandans.
We are still on the top. How can we make Africa self-sustainable without going to look for aid from other countries? Because you are seeing Trump say Americans first. Then also Africans, we should also move also saying Africans first.
Yes.
What I think even the African leaders should recruit their people from US who are professionals back to their country.
By the way,
they should recruit them back to their country. For example, those people who are professional in medicine, are professional in technology, are professional in computer engineering, they should retreat them back to their countries.
And they can really contribute much towards the development of
because
Africa.
they have that power to do so.
And actually what I've seen also in South Africa, people were complaining, don't take our whites, they have been bringing development. Let me tell you, America, that's why Trump was saying America is first. They even try to follow what their people are doing in other countries.
That is it.
Huh?
Yeah.
But for us, if our members are there, we don't even
We
mind.
don't bother.
Only follow them when news breaks.
We don't
Uganda
bother.
is dead in this and this country.
Uh-huh.
That's why now.
Even
There are some
sometimes they
people-
don't bother.
Sometimes
they don't bother.
there are even these people who are in the middle. It's a person goes online, begins saying they are about to kill me. We always sleep outside. We don't have what to eat, but you will see that no one is touched.
Do you know that problem is due to corruption? Because some countries, some companies are corrupt. They have their way of like negotiating to those people so that they bring they get Ugandans who are like elite, who are like ignorant about the policies of traveling. So they bring these ignorant Ugandans to to Europe countries. They make them suffer. Then at the end of the day, they bother Ugandan companies who are legally registered and the president, so that they import them back to the country. But they can't even say that this company gave me the visa, gave me the passport to go. So at the end of that day, we are dead.
This is Elevate Voice TV, and we are continuing to share. So we have learned a lot of things through this program. We have learned to be passionate for ourselves, to love our country, to avoid corruption, to stand in solidarity so that we can bring corruption to an end, and again to enforce innovation and creativity and support our fellow people, our leaders. We are kindly beseeching you to come and support our people.
Yes.
Support your people who voted you to power, and even if you were not voted, support the cause of your ministry, support the cause of your service in your respective countries. Love Africa. Africans first, then others will come later. Thank you so much. This program is always there every week, every Saturday, and we are going to be enjoying everything here at Elevate Voice TV, amplifying voices, inspiring the world. I've been Lucky Atuheire, the host of this program, and before we conclude, let me ask all of you to give us conclusion remarks, and you can say farewell to us.
Well, according to what we have discussed so far, I think this brings in now to like our African leaders should now start rethinking, or now we should, put in measures to make our countries sustainable. You get? And now another question comes in: are they ready? Are they ready for this kind of things that are now happening? Are they ready to, adjust? Yeah, which will now depend on them. Otherwise, thank you so much for live streaming. Always we shall be sharing a lot of ideas on our continent, Africa. I still remain Henry Adams Keshedon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next time, you are always welcome.
Yeah, my last word is I call for solidarity and unity among African countries. If we unite as Africans, we shall have empowered our countries economically, socially, and politically. I thank the viewers, the live streamers, and those people who are really doing much to to like us, comment about our content. We love you so much. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much. Let's go and love one another, and we continue to put in place what we have discussed. Let's invest for ourselves. Let's love Africa for God and my country, Uganda, amplifying voices, inspiring the world.
The Sun on Elevate Voice TV.